Welcome to Off Air with Christy Capel. I am with a very special guest with me right now. I have had the opportunity to hang out in Akron with Elizabeth Smart for the day. She was the keynote speaker at the Recovery and Survival Summit in Akron. She's the author of My Story and also Where There's Hope. Child welfare advocate and child abduction survivor, Elizabeth Smart's journey is one of pain to purpose. She's a wife and mother of 3 beautiful kids. Welcome to my show.
Thank you.
It's an honor to have you. We were just chatting about kids. So how old are yours? I think we're both in the heat of this madness, right?
Yeah, they are 10, 8, and 6.
Oh my gosh. And so are they athletes? Do they like to play sports?
They're into everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're like Uber drivers. What about you guys?
Oh, 100%.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I am counting down the days to summer when there's minimal commitment and minimal practices and obligations to show up.
I know. I said the same thing to my husband. I'm like, this is crazy. If we can make it through the month of May, we'll be doing okay, right? We just signed them up for so many things because they...
Well, isn't it what they say? It's May-cember.
Yes.
Because it feels like December because there's so much going on and you're just like, okay,
yes.
got to power through.
Yeah. And you don't want to take anything away from them if they want to play or do whatever. So, oh my gosh, we're looking forward to summer too. So Elizabeth now travels the country, right? Educating and inspiring change. So I want to talk first of all, because you were in Akron. This will be playing probably after. And you are going to speak on community members being very important in the community and helping with change. Where can someone start if they're looking to kind of help with volunteer efforts to make a change in something like you dealt with?
Well, I think the truth is, and it's a really sad number. I'm not sure what is specific to Ohio, but nationwide, 1 in 5 women are sexually assaulted or sexually violated in their lifetime. So basically that says to me that whether someone has disclosed their story to you or not, you do actually know survivors. And so I think one of the best places people can start is by becoming educated. And I know that's the easy thing to spit out. And by educated, I mean have some emotional empathy for these survivors. If someone is disclosing to you, they're sharing with you, they've decided you're a safe person, they're sharing with you the worst moments of their life in the belief that you will believe them, that you're a safe person, that you will support them, that you're not just going to run away and be like, whoa, that's too much, or that you're going to turn around and question them. Because unfortunately, what I see a lot of people, what I see happening to many survivors is that when they go to try to disclose to someone, they're immediately met with questions like, well, why didn't you say something sooner? Well, why didn't you say you were scared? Well, why didn't you scream? Why didn't you fight back? Why didn't you? And as much as maybe those are questions of natural curiosity, the survivor does not hear that. They hear, you should have. You should have run. You should have screamed. You should have fought harder. And honestly, we should all be just embracing them and supporting them. I mean, they survive. So many victims do all the things that they're supposed to do, and they do not survive. So the most important thing we can do is listen, believe them. Don't be afraid of their trauma. Be there for them. And it's okay if you don't know how to respond. It's okay if you're like, I don't know, do I say, let's go to the police, or do we go to see a therapist? That's okay to say that you don't know. You can ask them, be like, I believe you and I want to support you. How can I help you? Yeah. What can I do for you? That is completely okay to ask.
How to help the population heal from trauma, from survival? Where do you begin there?
Well, I think one of the most powerful gifts you can give a survivor is allowing them to make their own choices. Because if they've been a victim of trafficking, if they've been a victim of sexual violence, if they've been a victim of rape, kidnapping, their choices were taken away from them. And so being able to have that gift given back, the ability to make a choice, I think really goes a long way in helping them move forward.
I want to talk about your book. It's called My Story, and it's a memoir of how you survived in starting a new life. This kind of came from the heart. You've written 2 books. So where did you begin? And for those who haven't read the first one, where did you begin with writing it? I feel like you've told your story, right? You speak all over the world. Where did you begin by telling your story again?
Well, when it came to my book, I mean, I really hadn't done a lot of speaking prior to writing it. And actually, I initially never thought I would write a book because I just felt like I didn't want to dwell any more time in the past than what I'd already lived. But of course, my case took an exceptionally long time in the courts. And when I finally testified, it just came out as, I mean, what felt like, I don't know, bullet points or just like a list of facts that happened. And I just remember thinking, my story is so much more than just a list of facts. And if all of this, not secrets, but it kind of felt like secret because I didn't talk about it before the trial. But if all of the private things that I experienced was going to be out there, I wanted to give it context. And then, I mean, also, you know, when I was rescued, I didn't know anyone who had been sexually assaulted. I didn't know anyone who had been kidnapped. I didn't know anyone who had been abused. At least I didn't, I wasn't aware of it. And I actually felt very lonely when I was first rescued. I mean, not my family was there, but just in that I didn't want to talk about it with them because how could they understand? And since I didn't feel like, you know, anyone else was out there talking about those kinds of topics, how could I talk to anyone about it? And so then that sort of mindset with testifying and trial and just thinking back on, I mean, it was almost 10 years by the time my case was finally wrapped up. And over the years, I did have other survivors approach me and share their stories with me. And that helped me realize that I was not alone. And that even though I had always known it wasn't my fault, I still felt shame over what happened and guilt over what happened, even though I knew it wasn't my fault. But hearing these other survivors share their stories with me, that really helped me. I mean, just realize I'm not alone. What I experienced actually is not unique at all. I mean, the most unique thing about it is that I was kidnapped by a stranger. It wasn't someone that I know. Right. That's probably the most unique thing about my story. And so then I felt like how many more survivors and victims are out there who felt the same way I felt, feeling like, oh, well, how could anyone else understand what I went through? Because no one else has gone through this. So then I thought, well, this is for them.
Yeah, but you also talk in your book about maintaining hope. And I think a lot of people wonder how that can be. And just by meeting you, like just for a few minutes, like you're just grace exudes from you, you know. And so people are going through trials. It may not be the same, but how do you maintain hope in situations like that or any situation?
When I speak, and usually one of the questions that is asked after I'm done speaking is, as a parent, what do you do to help your children? What do you teach them, or how do you talk about safety? And yes, I talk about safety all the time with them. I mean, they roll their eyes at me all the time. Whenever I ask them, like, do you understand why?
Yes.
And they're like, yes, Mom.
Yeah.
I understand why.
I know. I do the same thing.
But I think more important than any conversation of safety you could have with your child or any rule that you could ever lay down in your house, I think the most important thing you could give your child is to love them unconditionally and make sure they know that, because while I was kidnapped, I mean, I certainly had my doubts about a lot of things. I had my struggles about a lot of things. But what I realized very early on is that my parents would love me no matter what. I mean, it didn't matter that I'd been kidnapped or raped or chained up. None of the things that happened to me would alter their love for me. And because I recognized that that was always going to be consistent. That was always going to be there for me. That was something my captors couldn't take from me. I felt like that was worth living for, because if I had someone that loved me and cared about me, then that would be worth it.
And your hope kept you strong. You talk about in your book how you manipulated your captors to get you back to Utah so your family could find you. Walk us through some of that.
My captors had taken me to Southern California for the winter because we wouldn't have survived a winter in northern Utah. I mean, I just drove through snow yesterday to get here. Like, it's mid-May.
Yeah, right.
And snow.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sick of it.
I'm surprised it's not in Cleveland.
But, yeah, we wouldn't have survived in northern Utah. So they took me to Southern California, and we'd already been there for months, and they had started to talk of new places to go. And my captor... And I think actually it's probably important to point out that many rapists, it's not always about the forcible act of rape, of sex, that's doing it for them. It's, I would say, more often than not, it's about complete power and control and domination over another person. It's that feeling that they get of just having complete power over another person. And I think that is, that was a huge influencing factor for my case and my captors. But I was never going to be enough for them. They wanted to kidnap more young girls, and they'd started talking about new places, and they justified everything they did through God or religion. And I mean, I know that's wrong.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to tell me that that's wrong. I know that's wrong. But I just remember thinking that if they can do it and get away with it, maybe so can I. And actually, it worked, which was incredible, because I didn't think that my captor would ever listen to me, certainly not using the same methods that he used of saying, oh, God commanded, God did that, God set it upon my heart, God revealed the secret to me of what we're supposed to do. I didn't ever think that would work for me, because for him it was always it always led to being raped. It always led to being hurt, being abused. I mean, being deprived of something. So, I mean, there was always for him, I guess, a selfish benefit behind it all. So, yeah, it was incredible that it worked.
Just recently, you filled in for Ashley Banfield, which you did a fabulous job. So anytime you want to fill in here in Cleveland, let me know. But you interviewed your dad, which I thought was pretty powerful. And you talked about how to keep something like this in the media. And this happened before really the internet was a big thing, right? And so now, all these years later, I'm in the media. Your dad had some really interesting things to say. How can we? What is our job in the media to keep this forefront? And the fact that your dad did that, as I mentioned before the internet was even big, I mean, to put something on Instagram or Facebook and quickly get responses, right? You didn't have that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is very tricky, trickier today than it ever has been before. I mean, my first response is always to the families: do whatever it is you need to do, comply with the police officers, the investigators, however you need to, so you can keep the focus on your child or your missing loved one. So if they ask you to take a lie detector test, please go take a lie detector test. Try to relieve suspicion off of yourself as quickly as possible. As painful as that is, which, I mean, how could it not be anything but excruciatingly painful? And I mean, I think your question is a really good question that I'm not even sure I have the answer to, because I feel like even in today's world, like the news cycle turns over so quickly. I mean, you see news all the time. You have it on the TV, you have it on Instagram, you have it on TikTok, you have it on Facebook, you have it like wherever you look, you're consuming some form of media, whether that's always true or reliable. It's anyone can
Check
say
your
anything.
Sources. Yeah, right.
But I think I feel like, and looking back at what my parents did, I mean, they certainly did everything that they could, but they also didn't ever stop. They didn't ever just like fully leave it in someone else's hands and just be like, okay, I'm just going to sit at home and wait until she comes home. I mean, they were out there all the time, and they were anxious to share any updates with the community. So that meant utilizing the media as updates came, sharing it with the news. And again, I think today's world is a very different place than it was back then. Yeah. I mean, you really maybe only had, a few sources of media, not endless media at your fingertips. Right. And so I think that probably really played a big role and impact on my case. And as far as today's journalists and news reporters and anchors and people who work in the media, I think there is a real responsibility there. I mean, there's stupid stuff on the media all the time. And yet I sit there and think, wow, about every 72 seconds, a child is kidnapped or disappears. And we're talking about this kind of garbage? Are you kidding me? And where our sexual violence statistics are so high, and domestic violence, I mean, takes the average victim of domestic violence 7 times trying to leave before they successfully leave their partner. Surely there is much more newsworthy things. And also good things. I mean, people are found. Children are rescued. Victims do make it out of terrible relationships. There are lots of good things to be celebrated as well. I mean, as much as I can hear people being like, well, we can't feed this too much. The world already seems like it's going to hell in a handbag. We need to have some light stuff in here as well. I can understand that. But as I was just saying, victims come home. Yes. There are survivors. There's always going to be good news to share in this front as well. And I can't help but think that's so much more important than the dumb stuff.
Right. I understand what you're saying. You got to meet Amanda Berry. Obviously, that was a huge story for us all these years ago, and took the country and the world, by storm. That after all those years, that they were rescued, and their parents did the same thing with keeping it in the front of the media. I saw your quote that said, "You're my hero," when you met Amanda. What was that meeting like?
I mean, I've been able to meet both Amanda and Gina, and I just have, the deepest respect for all 3 of them. And the strength that each one of them, Amanda, Gina, Michelle, all have displayed is absolutely incredible. I mean, they survived years and years and years, and they made it out, and they're out reclaiming their lives, and they're also they're doing so much good in the community. And I mean, what a huge contribution that is, because although I was not with my family while I was gone, I've seen some home videos of them while I was gone, and I've seen news clips of my parents being interviewed, some of my siblings being interviewed over the years. And I mean, even if I didn't know them the way I know them, anyone could see how much pain they're in. Yeah. And so having someone there to just embrace you and hold your hand and be like, we're not giving up. What an incredible gift that is. I mean, and just what wonderful examples all 3 of them are in however they choose to live their life, just being that it's their choice and it's what it's the life they want to live.
Right. Many people have said so many wonderful things about you. You're an inspiration. One even said, I wrote it down, she said, she inspired me to study criminology and the justice system at the age of 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
That's a huge impact on an age like that. What do you believe is the most terrifying territory? We talk about kids, we're both parents. What do you think is the terrifying territory for kids today? I mean, I know we talk about social media all the time, but I think us parents, that our kids don't come with a handbook. We have to figure it out along the way, right? Mm-hmm. And we've all been through experiences and trying to figure out life and leading them in the right directions. But is it social media?
I mean, I don't know that you can boil it down to one thing. I think it's always going to be the thing that you don't know about. I think that's the scariest thing, is the thing that you don't know about. Absolutely, social media can be more than terrifying. I mean, it can be a predator's playground. But I mean, also, even if you take away technology, you want to know what else is scary? The fact that most people know they're abusers. And usually it's a person that has access. Usually it's someone that the family trusts or counts as a friend. It's usually someone within their circle of trust.
Yeah.
And that is what is terrifying. And I think that is one of the maybe biggest, not hang-ups, but stumbling blocks for communities in believing survivors, because they know the person too, and they think, well, they're at church every single Sunday. They lead the youth group, or they're they coach the football team at the high school or the mini league or whatever it is, or I know that person. Like they're an upstanding citizen. Why would they would never do that? Like, you must be wrong. That can't be right. Like, are you sure you're remembering it correctly? And it's exactly that kind of, those returning kind of questions that can be so detrimental and almost damning to survivors. Not just that you didn't immediately believe them, but that it's almost like you're taking the perpetrator's side, and they trusted you. So it's not even just the betrayal, the initial betrayal of trust when the abuse happened, which I just want to say, first of all, I can't imagine how much worse that would hurt, having someone that someone you thought was there to help or protect you or you could turn to, hurt you, rape you, abuse you, manipulate you. I can't imagine how much more that would hurt than having a complete stranger do that to you, because that trust was already there and that was violated. And then going to your family, going to someone that you trust and disclosing to them and having them immediately turn around and be like, well, are you sure?
Yeah.
Like, are you sure that's what happened? Are you sure you're not just like, maybe you're just in an emotional state right now, and maybe when you calm down, things will change? Or, I know them, like he babysat my kids or she babysat my kids, or, they teach, like, again, going through the whole, they go to church, they're this, they're that, like they would never do that. I think honestly, that's probably one of the most scary things, that we're not giving our survivors and victims the belief and support that they deserve.
So that leads me to think, are we doing enough in schools?
No.
To educate these kids?
No. And I mean, it's like, I think it's a topic that needs to be addressed from all sides, not just schools, not just at home. I mean, it should be from the top down, from the bottom up, from side to side, because we shouldn't allow anyone to fall through the cracks. And we see, unfortunately, news stories of teachers or custodians of the school or principals, people in positions of power within schools abusing children. I mean, it's like, as terrible as it is, it's not that uncommon. So it happens there. I mean, as I just talked about, it can happen in the home. I mean, it can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
And so we should be having these conversations on every level.
you made a comment. We do fire drills, tornado drills. What else?
Yeah,
did we talk
everybody
about?
knows what to do if you catch on fire. Everybody knows stop, drop, and roll.
Right.
How many people actually use it?
Right.
You know?
Not many.
Not many. I ask that
Hopefully.
question actually almost all the time now because I want to give just people a little perspective. So, for example, just Monday night, my foundation, we had our big gala, our big fundraising garden party. And, I asked everyone, how many of you have ever used stop, drop, and roll? One person raised their hand. I would guess there are probably 300 people in the room. And the statistic for Utah is 1 in 3 women are sexually abused, typically before they're 18. 1 in 3. And that room was full of women. I mean, there were men there too, but there were a lot of women. And nobody knows what to do in that case.
Every 68 seconds, someone's sexually assaulted. Every 9 minutes, that person is a child. Talk about, we just had a story in the news recently that a underage girl, flew into the Hopkins airport to meet a guy she had never met. I mean, it is happening in
all the
plain
time.
sight. Now, luckily, law enforcement was there to step in as soon as she stepped off that plane. But what are some of the safety tips for these young women?
I mean, that is going to come with, again, talking about it in all the different places, but then it's also going to be open communication.
Yeah.
Parents, I recognize not every child, not every teenager is fortunate to have engaged parents, which is why we need to have, again, top to bottom, bottom to top, side to side, discussions about this. But parents do go a very long way. I mean, you see it all the time. Like if you're, I don't know, I feel like I see it all the time. Like if I go to the liquor store or something and they'll be like, parents, talk to your kids. Your kids are less likely to underage drink if you're actively talking to them and telling them it's bad or it's wrong. And if that's true for alcohol, why wouldn't that be true in this case? Why don't we talk about the harms of social media? Why don't we talk about the dangers of strangers we meet online? I mean, why don't we talk about how do you really know if you know someone is safe or not? I mean, how do you really know a person at all? I mean, there's so much I want to say. I want to say, don't ever go somewhere to meet someone you don't know. Don't ever give up your autonomy or like your power of escape, transportation. Like, I mean, for instance, like as I got older, my parents were like, you need to drive your car. And like, if you want to go with friends, like you pick your friends up. That way you can leave whenever you want. Yeah. You're not obligated to stay. And I also just want to say another thing that we really should be focusing on and talking about is it's okay to be impolite sometimes. Your safety is more important than another person's comfort. And I know I was raised to be kind. I was raised to be polite, respectful. If someone asked you for help, if it was possible, you should help. I mean, those kinds of things. And I think those are wonderful principles to be raised with, but not at the expense of your safety. So when my kids go to school and they come back and they're like, oh, we talked about not bullying, we talked about not fighting, we talked about, if someone's, hurting you, like go to the principal, go here, go there, whatever. And I'm always like, that is so great, but I just want you to know, if anyone ever lays a hand on you, you can fight. You can scream, you can bite, you can claw them, you can kick. I don't care what you do. You do whatever you have to do to be safe.
Seriously.
And I think children, I think girls in particular need to hear that. I think they need to hear that permission because many of us, I think, were raised like, no, you don't fight.
Yeah.
Like, you don't scream. Like, that's not ladylike. That's not polite.
Exactly.
That's not becoming of a young woman.
I ain't raising my kids like that. Sometimes my husband's like, reel it in. I'm like, what happened today at school? Why didn't you stand up for yourself? But it's true. It's true. And I think that they're taught in schools like, behave, sit there, behave, do your work, to respect your elders and what have you. But they got to be taught everything.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like, and maybe this is you, I tend to overshare a little bit more because I'm in the news and I see things playing out that I'm reading. And I'm saying, are you kidding me? I have to tell my kids. And so my oldest, she's almost 12. And it's like, sometimes I feel like I share too much. Not necessarily a helicopter parent, but what do you do in this situation? If a custodian takes you and says, I want to give you something, whatever the scenario is, you have to be aware. You may feel safe in your surroundings, but you have to be aware that anything can happen, right? Mm-hmm. So do you see yourself as a parent maybe being overprotective? I mean, you obviously have your story to back it up and so much. And I just read the news and I'm like, I need to maybe relax on the helicopter parenting. But
I mean, like, I guess in my mind, I just think to myself, I will never regret, like, double checking. I will never regret erring on the caution side, but I might regret not.
Yeah.
I might regret, like, not watching them, or I might regret not having that conversation with them. Yeah. So it's hard. It's a hard balance. But if anyone knows the secret, please let me know, because I would love that.
We're going to wrap this up, but I have thoroughly enjoyed meeting you. As I said, you have so much grace coming from you. What brings you joy in life?
Spending time with my kids, spending time with my family. Like, naturally, I'm such a homebody. Yeah. Like, I love being at home. I love being with my family. I love just enjoying being together. Yeah. Yeah.
It has been such a pleasure. Thank you for your time. She has so much to do here in Akron, so we're going to let her go. But we'll link her books and stuff too, and I highly recommend reading them.
Thank you.
It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.